Rando Steve here. Welcome back to the channel. So, wow, Big E won the WWE Championship last night off of Bobby Lashley after cashing in his Money in the Bank contract. He had said that he was going to do it in the morning. I kind of figured that he wasn't going to do it, but then he actually did it. He said at the beginning of Raw he was going to do it, and then he was asked about it during Raw, and he said he was going to do it, and then he ended up doing it, and then he won the title. It all just happened, and it was honestly a really great moment on WWE Raw, which was probably much needed after, kind of a spell of people dumping on Monday Night Raw for not being all that creatively interesting. And you could actually debate the merits of the actual sort of idea behind just him saying he was going to do it and then him doing it, as opposed to making it a surprise or building to it. It seemed that WWE wasn't interested in losing to AEW in the demo rating again, and so they just sort of did this. I personally am totally fine with that. This is part of the unpredictability that I kind of like in WWE. I think they can have these big inspired moments. They sort of set a lot of things up, and so at any given moment you can have something like this happen. Was it reactionary? Yeah, but that's okay. Most of the Monday Night War stuff was reactionary, and it was pretty good. Forcing the WWE to step up their creative and give us these big moments that are obviously designed to get ratings and pop fans, I don't really see much of a problem with that. I mean, this isn't really Shakespeare we're dealing with, it's WWE. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to go ahead and finally do the video that I had teased a while ago. Why do we still watch Monday Night Raw? And I thought it was apropos to do this video today, given what happened with Big E, simply because what we saw last night is the reason a lot of you gave. I had 272 comments when I posed this question on our community tab here at WrestleJuice, all people writing in their reasons for still watching Monday Night Raw. And this was not meant in any disrespectful way. Monday Night Raw still gets pretty good ratings. Not maybe compared to 5 years ago, but let's be honest, the way media is consumed, the way television is consumed is a little bit different. I do think that probably their ratings have fallen a bit more than other comparable forms of entertainment or programming rather. And so I'm not sure that, it's simply chalked up to people cutting the cord or whatever. But I thought it would be fun to go through a lot of these comments, because a lot of these comments said the same thing. Because every once in a while, there's going to be something big that happens on Raw. And I felt like last night was one of those moments. It's the reason people continue to tune in on the promise, or at least the potential, that something big could happen. So I'm pretty sure YouTube organizes these comments in terms of like the most popular ones, the most liked ones. So we're going to go through some of these and just read them, because I think they're pretty interesting. And there's some that are actually kind of nice in here. Roy Costin has one of the most liked comments here. He says, much like with AEW, the WWE still has great wrestlers. Regardless of the story they may be in any given week, you're still going to see Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, John Morrison, and many others in action. Great point, because this week we actually did get to see Damian Priest versus Jeff Hardy. Who knows where they're going to end up in the draft. Jeff Hardy isn't used consistently in a consistent way lately. He's either chasing the 24/7 title, or he's getting U.S. title shot, or he's up in a main event spot, possibly on any given episode of Raw. So, that's a match that maybe a lot of fans of Damian Priest and Jeff Hardy would like to see. Jeff Hardy's a legend. Damian Priest is a guy who obviously has a pretty big ceiling. He's probably going to go a long way. And yeah, you still get banger matches. Last week we had Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus, which was a great match. And yeah, this is a good point, I think, to watch Raw, is because the performers are still outstanding. WWE probably still has the best roster from top to bottom of any wrestling promotion on the planet. If you can look all the way down at NXT UK or 205 or whatever, all the way up to Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, they have the best roster on the planet. I kind of think that it's not even close. Let's see here. Hector Guzman says, it's something I look forward to consistently on a Monday. As someone who works 40 plus hours and has Mondays off, I just kick back and invite some homies and chill. That's one of my favorite answers here, because wrestling is always better with friends. If you have friends that are into wrestling as well and you're able to get together with them, especially these days when things are kind of crazy, that's the best. That's the absolute best, because even if it's bad, it's still good. And if it's boring, you got your friends there. You can shoot the shit. You can talk about whatever you want. That isn't wrestling. Nathaniel Shiver says, it's just part of the Monday routine. Also, there's always at least something good on the show that I enjoy. One thing that I always have to remember is that not a lot of people watch wrestling as their job, which it's my job. It's over at Going in Raw. That's my main source of income. And so watching Monday Night Raw is a necessity for me. For a lot of people, they can turn it on, walk away if they want to. They don't have to type up notes for it. They're not going to be talking about it. They're not going to be quizzed on it later. And so you sort of think, or I sort of sometimes take that aspect for granted, I guess, that like I have to sit there and overanalyze it. Most people out there don't. They can just sit there, kick back, change channel if they want to, et cetera, et cetera. The Terminator, I don't know if this is the actual Terminator, but that's his name here on YouTube, says, my dad watches it out of habit since he's done it for years. I sometimes watch it with him and will laugh at how terrible it is. That is my favorite. That is the best, when you can make a parental connection between father and son, father and daughter, mother and son, whatever, and you can sit back and have a bonding moment. We don't get to see our families that often, some of us, and so any excuse to catch up with them and to see them, if you make it a weekly thing, man, I think that's absolutely terrific. Joe here says, I used to watch because I grew up with it and it's brainless television after a long day at work. Now that I've discovered review shows online, I've realized I only watch so I can follow along with all the YouTube/Twitch review shows, which are so much more entertaining than Raw. Again, that speaks to the community aspect of watching wrestling. When you have programs out there like here, WrestleJuice, or over there Going in Raw, or Wrestle Talk, or Fightful, or whatever, you're joining a community and you're all talking about whether it's crappy or good or not or whatever, or you're all putting in your suggestions for fantasy booking, how they should do this, how they shouldn't do that, et cetera, et cetera. Gregory Turner simply says, I like train wrecks. They're highly entertaining. That's a good point of view as well. Some people just like to watch the world burn, like Gregory here. The Pepsi dude says, this is a part of my Monday ritual for the last 14 years. I want to see my favorite superstars every week. I wish Raw's writing was a lot better. So it's like, yeah, sometimes if you just get in the routine of something, it becomes habitual, and it doesn't mean that you think it's great. It just means, hey, this is what I do. I like to see the characters. The writing's not great. It's not the end all be all. S. Morgan says, honestly, I do my meal prep for the week on Monday nights, and I've gotten used to having Raw in the background. I've seen a lot of people say they just have Raw sort of on in the background, doing other stuff. It's comfortable. It's been there every week since 1993, I think. So like, yeah, you're just sitting there, you're doing your meal prep, doing some working out, maybe doing some, I don't know, hobbies. You got Raw in the background. It's comforting. Logan Hoffman says, because despite the unsure overall presentation of the show, it seems as though there's always one segment that produces entertainment. With the beauty of modern technology, the fast forward button on recordings, I can take 45 to 60 minutes and find that. That's how I've started to watch Raw now that me and Larson over at Going in Raw, we'll watch it, or we'll review it the next day. I wait till around 10 o'clock at night, 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. I'll put it on my Xfinity, or sometimes I'll just record it on my computer so I can easily toggle through it. And I'll just go through the recaps, or I'll skip through the recaps and skip through the commercials and just get to the meat of the action. It's for me, it's a far better way to watch it, because at that point you're only really watching about 2 hours or so of TV, because they do have a lot of recaps. So you can shave off quite a lot of time if you do that. There are also some better ways to watch Raw. If you really want to save on time and you just want the important bits, you can literally just go to their YouTube page and check out what they got there, or get the Hulu version. Sometimes they cut out some good stuff on the Hulu version, though. Josh says, I always hold out hope that something good is going to happen, and I want to support the wrestlers. They may not have great creative, but they're still going out there and giving it their all in the ring. There is that personal connection between fan and wrestler, guys and girls that you might have seen, come up either through NXT or the independent ranks, or you just were introduced to them on main roster. And it's like, hey, I relate to this person. I take a liking to this person. I want to see how they progress. I want to see them win, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, WWE is good. Wrestlers are good at, when they're good at their job, they're really good at establishing those connections with the fans. I love this one here. Callum Cole says, for the past year, I've watched wrestling with my auntie, and it connects us. We entertain ourselves, be it laughing at or with the product. I think that's fantastic. That's one of my favorite ones here, much like the dude who watched it with his dad. I thought that was great. So yeah, I don't know. Those were like the most upvoted comments here. But by all means, if you didn't post a comment here in the community thread, I mean, that was only like, I don't know, 10 or 15. A ton of these are simply routine or habit, which are basically the same thing, or they just like the talent. I mean, nobody really here in the comments said anything like, this is like, it's excellent writing or it's great creative. Nobody has really said that here. But everybody likes the wrestlers and they like wrestling, and Monday Night Raw on a good week will feature a lot of good wrestling. I mean, they got 3 hours. Typically they'll have at least one match that goes like 17, 20 minutes long. So yeah, interesting stuff. I just thought it'd be fun to talk about Big E. What'd you guys think about that Big E cash-in? Were you all in on it? I feel like Big E deserved that opportunity. He deserved to get that title after so much time. The fans are really into it. So if the cash-in itself wasn't really executed to perfection, like a Seth Rollins type cash-in or Edge, I thought this was pretty decent. I thought it sort of straddled the line between he's a face, so he let Lashley know, hey, this is happening. He sort of declared for it, but at the same time, he took that opportunity. He knows Lashley's a monster. You got to take that opportunity because it might not come again. That's what I think. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.